If I were to summarize what happened in medieval India, it would be one word, and it's chaos. Oh my god, so much chaos! So much chaos! You see, after the fall of the Mauryan Empire came the classical age. Here, the recognizable features of the Indian culture took shape. The idols people used became more human-like. There was a architectural and cultural boom, and often the subcontinent found itself divided at max into two or three major empires with some minor smaller kingdoms here and there. Nothing outlines this more than the Gupta Empire period, or in other words, the first golden age of India. It took Gupta Empire 2.5 generations to go from a small irrelevant kingdom in the middle of Ganga to being basically the empire that united all of North India. And right off the bat, there were only two or three other kingdoms left in the subcontinent, and all of them had marriage alliances to each other. So there was a solid 80-year stretch in the middle where there was no conquest or major wars. People just built, created art, and prospered. Well, all kingdoms except Kalabara dynasty, which, well, what the heck was going on there? We don't know. So how did it fall apart? Well, everything changed when the Huns attacked. The Huns? The same guys that destroyed Rome and attacked China in Mulan? Well, sort of. The Huns were a large Central Asian group that spread out in all four directions of the world, but they were divided into various sub-tribes that attacked different parts of the world. The tribe that attacked India were called the Algon Huns or the White Hun, and they looked like this while being the devotees of a sun god. They brought in great destruction to the northern subcontinent and disproportionately destroyed Buddhist monasteries. They even destroyed the ancient city of Kausambi, which had been the second capital of Kurukshetra after the first one drowned under the changing course of a river. Kausambi had been a significant city ever since, becoming either a very important city or the capital of every kingdom or empire that encompassed it since. It might even have been the capital of the Gupta Empire. Surprisingly, we don't know what the capital of the Gupta Empire was, but whatever it was destroyed. This pushed the Gupta nobility to their easternmost district in Bengal, and here in northwest India the Huns stayed for 2 generations. And in this time, they added an inscription to this Vishnu temple and converted to Shaivism or became Shiva devotees. What? How? They lived in Varanasi. Oh, that explains it. Within those 2 generations, a rebellion rose up in modern day Madhya Pradesh led by Yashodharma. It was the Okilara dynasty, and another rebellion rose up in the upper Ganga region led by the Mokhari dynasty, and together they came together with the Gupta emperor and they drove the Huns away. It must have been like an Avengers moment. After that, the Huns settled in Kashmir, which had been a Buddhist stronghold at this point. Oh no, they destroyed all Buddhist monasteries and built sun temples and Shiva temples in their stead. Oh no. It took them 200 more years for them to completely assimilate with the locals in Kashmir. Meanwhile, in the rest of India, all empires were falling apart. In the north, no dynasty was taking for more than 1 or 2 generations, each trying to take over the other. The Gupta Empire would be reduced to a kingdom to die out within 1 or 2 generations since then. And they would then be replaced by their cousins, called the later Guptas, who themselves might only last for 2 or 3 generations. In the Deccan, though, a new superpower would rise. In the place of Vatakada kingdom in the Deccan, which was primarily a Marathi kingdom, would come the Chalukyas of Badami, which was a largely Kannadiga kingdom. It spread rapidly, and for some time it became the sole superpower of the subcontinent. In its peacetime, it revolutionized temple building and architecture, setting the foundation stone for the culture of the Deccan plateau. In the south, the Kalabara dynasty fell apart around the same time, and with it, two empires would emerge, the Pallavas and the Pandya. These two redefined what it meant to be Tamil and to a certain degree Telugu. I mean, the Pallavas had been there since the fall of the Satavahanas in the 3rd century AD, but they were just a kingdom back then, a small little kingdom. But by combining forces with the rebelling Pandyas from within Calabra dynasty, they defeated the Calabras and took over what used to be the Chola country. These people would create the Pallava script, which would become the forefather to the Thai script and other Southeast Asian scripts, as well as the Telugu script. While the Pandyas evolved the Tamil Brahmi to look closer to the modern day script of Tamil. While North India was busy in killing each other, South and Central India was in the middle of a three-way Mexican standoff. Remaining largely peaceful, this three-way standoff created a cultural revolution. In the middle of all of this, an empire would emerge in the north. Remember the Maurya dynasty that fought off the Huns? Well, they created a kingdom that, despite changing borders, changing dynasty, and all the other kinds of chaos, had a core area that was largely peaceful. This area was around the city of Kannauj. Because of this, the city of Kannauj became the cultural and wealth center of North India. Everyone wanted it, and from within the city, a new king would emerge. His name, Harshavardhan. He would win every battle and conquer in every direction, creating a wealthy and powerful empire. Woohoo! For all of one generation. He had no successors and his empire fell apart quickly. But it made Kannauj wealthier than ever, and it made Kannauj more desirable than ever. The Chalukya Empire weakened because of a major battle with Harshavardhana and their constant squabbles with Pallava dynasty, weakened enough to allow Rashtrakuta Empire to overthrow them and take over. To the north and east, the area of Bengal had been in chaos ever since the fall of the Gupta Empire. Constant civil wars and inter-tribe conflicts was what defined them. It all stopped when they elected Dharampal, the first king of the Pala dynasty, as their overall monarch. To northwest, the frontier regions of India was being constantly attacked by the Arabs. They even lost Sindh to an invasion. In one of the major defenses mounted by the man, the myth, the legend, Bappa Rawal, one of his generals, Nagarbhatta I, would gain great fame. And upon the death of Bappa Rawal, he was given the throne. Within his lifetime, he united all of northwestern tribes and established the Gujara Pratiharas. All three of them were established around the same time, around the year 750 AD. All three of them went after the same city right after consolidating. They went after Kannauj. For nearly a century, the three kingdoms fought over Kannauj, and the city changed hands between the three of them, each of them holding it for a brief period. All the while, Gujara Pratiharas continued to face off further Arab invasions and their Muslim descendants. This added experience made them a formidable army. The Arab travelers called all three of these kingdoms formidable. They formed new identities that persist to this day. Rashtrakuta Empire formed the core of the Kannada culture, as they are the ones who started highlighting it. And they created one of the most beautiful structure in the world, and that is the Kailasa temple in the Ellora caves. The Pala dynasty formed the foundation of the Bengali identity, their culture, their religious practices, and their architecture. Gujara Pratihara created the Nagari script, which was the precursor to Devanagari, which is what Hindi is written in these days, as well as Rajasthani and other nearby languages. This three-way competition pushed all three of them to be better culturally and militarily, sort of like the Cold War. Eventually, the Gujara Pratiharas won. Meanwhile, for the Rashtrakuta Empire, the troubles had not ended yet. Not only did they lose the tripartite struggle, To their south, the Chola dynasty was beginning to emerge again. The Chola Empire had emerged from within the Pallava dynasty. It would soon swallow the whole Pallava dynasty and would start taking over the Pandya dynasty. It would only take them 2 or 3 generations to take over the whole Tamilka, although their control over it was tenuous at best. They would even conquer northern Sri Lanka and start attacking northward into the Rashtrakuta Empire. Although for their troubles, they would get defeated by Rashtrakuta empires at Takulam. The Cholas would lose their crown prince, end up in a succession crisis. A succession crisis that could have ended the entire empire. But this was completely avoided as Parantaka II or Sundar Chola, or the father of Raja Raja Chola, came to power. Led by their eldest son, Aditya Karikalan, they would take revenge on the Rashtrakutas, conquering ever northwards and weakening them. Aditya Karikalan would die because of some assassins, leading to another succession crisis between Parantaka II's brother Uttam Chola and his second son Raja Raja Chola. The crisis would end with a truce, allowing for Parantaka II's brother to take the throne for a brief period before Raja Raja Chola came to the throne himself. But this attack by Aditya Karikalan sent Rashtrakuta Empire spiraling, and it allowed for the Chalukya dynasty to take over. Wait, didn't Rashtrakuta come to power by overthrowing them specifically?
Somehow
The Chalukyas. This time there were 2 of them. Meanwhile, the Gujara Pratiharas weakened because of another attack from the Rashtrakutas and because of infighting. In the 10th century, they started losing territories to the newly emergent Rajput kingdoms, and they became a shadow of their former self. To the south, Raja Raja Cholan took the Chola throne and he hit the ground running. He conquered most of Sri Lanka, save for a small sliver in the south, and then he gave a welcome gift to the newly emergent Chalukyas by attacking them so hard that they have tablets full of people freaking out. What do the tablets say? They say that the Cholas had an army close to 1 million people and they were destroying everything they came across. Sort of similar to what the Sri Lankans wrote about them. So basically, they were freaking out. Somehow, the Western Chalukyas managed to fight them off and stop them from taking their capital. Finally the juggernaut was stopped. Well, that's barely an inconvenience for Rajaraj Cholan, as he turned around and conquered the eastern Chalukya instead. Oh god, finally Raja Raja Cholan would die, only to be replaced by an even bigger conqueror, his son Rajendra Chola. Oh no. My man destroyed another Pandya rebellion before turning around and conquering the rest of Sri Lanka. To celebrate this fact, he would head northward and conquer Kalinga. Please, would someone spare Kalinga for once? Hasn't it suffered enough? Right at the same time, North India would be attacked by Muhammad Ghazni, who would come in and destroy a bunch of temples and loot them, chief among them being the Somnath temple, killing and kidnapping many women and children in the process. He would also end the remaining embers of the Gujara Pratihara kingdom. Around the same time, its compatriot in the Tripartite struggle, Pala Empire, was also facing its own invasion by freaking Rajendra Chola. He would sack the Pala Empire so bad that no kingdom would be able to pop up there again for a while. Was Rajendra Chola done? No. My man wanted the control of the whole Bay of Bengal, so he casually sauntered over and attacked Southeast Asia and destroyed Sri Vijaya Empire. For a while, the Bay of Bengal was called the Chola Pond. So full was their control of this sea. In time though, the Chola Empire would not be able to hold on to all of this territory, and in just 2 centuries from their peak, they would vanish into nothing, to be replaced by the Pandyas. The Pandya. The Chalukya Empire would divide into 3, and the only way I can describe North India is through this video.
To keep up with the action, it's darn near impossible. Mysterio needs to get back.
But through this chaos, one empire would emerge. The Chamanas or the Chauhans. Under Prithviraj Chauhan, it would grow to its highest extent. The Tomars before them had constructed the city of Delhi, and with the rule of these two dynasties, it would become one of the richest and the biggest cities of North India. And just when you think that things might start finally calming down in North India, who else shows up but freaking Muhammad Ghori? He manages to conquer all of North India and dies the moment he does so. His empire splits into three: the Ghazni Sultanate in around Ghazni in Afghanistan, the Bengal Sultanate led by the Khaljis in the east, and the Delhi Sultanate in the middle. We're going to follow the Delhi Sultanate. What follows is chaos. A new king pops up every few years. It does stabilize a little under Iltutmish, who rules for 20 years, and he does manage to make Delhi an even more rich city, but the day it dies, it results in another succession crisis, with his daughter Razia Sultan taking over next. Ooh, progressive. Only for 4 years. Oh, another succession crisis results in another bunch of kings. And you know what? It's not worth talking about them. Some Mongols are killed, some people are forcefully converted, and some taxes are raised. You know, the usual under an Islamic king, And then Jalaluddin Khilji takes over, only to be taken over by his nephew in a few years, named Alauddin Khilji. Now he sticks around. He expands his empire ever southwards, taking over the whole Rajputana and the Yadava dynasty. He even causes the women of two cities to kill themselves. Imagine having such negative rays that women would rather self-immolate than ever even be around you. Come on, man, not a topic to joke about. He also defeated Mongols again, built some forts in doing so, and jacked up the prices of the jizya tax to the point that people did not want to pay it anymore. Eventually, his dynasty would be overthrown by his general, Ghiyat al-Din Tughlaq. He would die rather quickly and give way for his son, Muhammad bin Tughlaq. Now, the Tughlaq dynasty is full of interesting characters that I hope that you watch the video of on your own. But the point is, he ends up conquering Bengal and almost all of South India. And in the process of capturing the Hosalya dynasty kingdom, he captures two brothers, Harihara and Bukkaraya, converts them to Islam and takes them as captives. But due to political instability, these two manage to escape, convert back to Hinduism, and find their own city, which is the seat of a new empire at the banks of the Tungabhadra river. This measure of resistance causes many other kingdoms to rebel against the Delhi Sultanate. This gives hope to many Indian kingdoms that these foreign invaders, or even rather calamities, can be stopped. The two brothers find the hope that was lost. The two brothers find the Vijayanagara Empire. Inspired by them, the Deccan Sultanate also gained their independence. These sultanates are led by the same people that Muhammad bin Tughlaq wanted to transfer from Delhi to Tughlaqabad in Maharashtra. And then he wanted them to come back, but they refused to come back and they rebelled and made their own kingdom. Most of these were local Muslims. So their rule over Hindus was not as bad. But as the empire of the Delhi Sultanate shrinks, the devil himself arrives. Temurlane, a Turco-Mongol conqueror from Central Asia, attacks India, wreaking havoc in his path. He sacks Delhi so bad that more than 1 lakh people die, and almost as many women and children are raped, and their belongings are pillaged. They mostly selectively target the Hindus of Delhi. Takes Delhi a whole century and 2 dynasties to start to recover. And it does not fully recover until it is under the Mughals. Meanwhile, to the south, the Vijayanagara Empire and the Deccan Sultanates become fabulously wealthy. They keep fighting each other and trading border cities without going too far into each other's empires. It is during this time that the Europeans arrive, and it is this time that gave the nickname of Golden Bird to India. But since the Europeans have arrived, it is no longer the medieval age. It is the colonial age or the pre-modern age. And this is where our journey today ends. See you next time at the beginning of a new chapter.